How's everyone doing? This is going to be a new video series, and I got the idea from Joe and Marie over at Martinez Joe 74. It's what didn't make the shelf. I did something similar to this a long time ago, but it was like more of a keep or toss thing where I was asking for your input. These are ones that I feel like I'm just going to get rid of, and I'm going to talk about them briefly and why they didn't make the shelf. Essentially, I don't want to keep anything that I can't see myself rewatching. My collection is crazy. You see the two bookcases, but I have over 6,000 Blu-rays, 4Ks, and DVDs. So there's piles all around me. I've got bookcases right next to me over here, there, and the other room. So gotta get rid of it. First up is the Arrow video release of The Passion of Darkly Noon. This is from Philip Ridley, who did another really weird and bizarre movie, The Reflecting Skin. I feel like that got a lot of love. It's kind of like an art house, bizarre, weird drama, family drama. It has some interesting aspects, but I feel like the biggest appeal is just how bizarre that movie is. And he has the same kind of feel here. There's the weird burning shoe, which I thought was super weird. It is a bizarre film. If you like Reflecting Skin, you'll probably enjoy this one. It's not quite as bizarre as The Reflecting Skin, but this one I feel like deals with a little bit more like religious fanaticism and stuff like that. You've got Brendan Fraser, Ashley Judd, and Viggo Mortensen as the leads here, and they're a couple. Viggo Mortensen, Ashley Judd, that live in like the middle of the woods, and he's like off hunting, and he's mute, and he was living with essentially in like a religious cult, and there was a military style attack on them, and he's the last one left, and he's traveling through the forest alone and lost, and he comes across Ashley Judd's character, who helps him, and says you can stay here for a bit. And he's again got the religious fanaticism aspect, and he's feeling all these urges towards her and doesn't know how to deal with it, and of course conflict ensues. And good performances across the board. It's just a bizarre, surreal feeling movie. Some great imagery and cinematography, but I don't know if I'm going to revisit this one, so I'm going to get rid of it. It's a really nice, matte finish slipcover for it. I'll go ahead and kind of give you an impromptu unboxing combination right there. A bunch of special features here. Arrow Video is one of the best companies releasing Blu-rays, and nice booklet. And yeah, I feel like there's some weird aspects with Ashley Judd's character that they kind of hint towards. And then there's another character that Brendan Fraser meets in the woods. So it's kind of like a twisted family aspect. There's a lot of him just staring at Ashley Judd, Brendan Fraser. I mean, just look at him right there. A really good performance, but just some really creepy moments and bizarre moments. I like certain aspects of it, but again, it's just not one that I can see myself revisiting. There's the reversible artwork, and I really did not care for The Reflecting Skin. I know that has a lot of love, cult following, but that one was just so many weird, gross, bizarre moments in there. And then the sheriff, I felt like a lot of the scenes were laughable, especially the sheriff, all the animal attack aspects and injuries that he had. Not for me, but Viggo Mortensen was in both Reflecting Skin and then The Passion of Darkly Noon. This was supposed to be an American trilogy kind of aspect from a British director, and the third film ended up being over there not as popular, so we kind of changed that up a bit. But yeah, good release if you are a fan of the film. Next up is another Arrow video release. It's Arrow Academy. I really like the Arrow Academy line. I don't think they're releasing that anymore over here in the US. At least they haven't in a while. This is an Italian film. It was Oscar nominated at the time, but Three Brothers was had never been previously released on any video format in the UK, although this is a US release. That's what it says on the back. So Arrow Academy is proud to present here in a brand new 2K restoration. It's dealing with social political aspects in Italy during that time period, and then a family. They're dealing with the passing, and they have the three brothers here, and one's a factory worker, one is a judge, and yeah, so it's just talking about the different professions, and one is a spiritual counselor. So it's also, one's in Rome, one's in Naples, and one's in Turin. So it's just, dealing with the different social, political aspects, and, classism and stuff like that. And they're coming back to this town where they're from, and, dealing with past relationships and, the family and stuff like that. Their mother had passed away, and there's some really beautiful imagery here, especially in the beginning, showing, the mother, and there's a scene there that's just really uh, heartfelt and riveting. And this is a really nice release. I like a lot of aspects for it, but for me, I just don't think I'm going to revisit it. And 2-disc set. You get the booklet again. I appreciate when they have the booklets, especially for, behind the scenes information and photos and stuff like that. And sometimes they'll have, film critics and stuff, historians. And if you're a fan of the film, you'll definitely appreciate that. I think for me, it was really nice to see some of the family aspects, especially the one character seeing like a love interest when he comes back. And then some of the shots were just really well done. Beautiful cinematography there, but it's how many, like I have over 6,000 movies right now. I've sold over 10,000 in the past like 5 years or so. And realistically, how many movies can you rewatch in a lifetime? So I've got to cut it down. I'm going to try to cut it down a bunch. So right now I've had a bit of an impasse, but I'm making moves. Next up, I'm going to get rid of the Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies Extended Edition, even though the recent Middle-earth set that some people claimed would have all the special features didn't have all the special features. In fact, they barely had any. It's a beautiful box set, display-wise, but to not have the special features and the price point for it for such a beloved franchise is disappointing, to say the least. So, but I'm not going to delve too much into this. I have other editions with the special features as well, but I do like this particular, you have the outer slip box right here. If I can get it out of here, it's really jam-packed in here. But I like the black case too for it, which makes me think of 4K, but this is actually the Blu-ray extended edition. And some good special features in here, a 3-disc set. But again, I have other editions with the special features and stuff like that, so I gotta get rid of some of them. Next up is, let me know what your favorite character from Lord of the Rings is. Something a little bit different and unique. But next up is Thor, The Dark World. I love that slipcover. It never really picks up fully on, my iPhone camera right there. It's kind of overcast out right now, but a really beautiful hollow foil design. You get it around the border and then like the lightning. But trust me, it looks so much cooler than it's showing right here. And this is a Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray digital copy combo pack. Well, you can see a little bit right there, a little bit of the reflection, probably from the overhead lights. But this is easily one of the bottom tier recent Marvel movies, and definitely, I don't want to say the worst, but the least good of the Thor movies. It does have some good visuals, but overall, I don't think I'm going to revisit this one. Of all the different Marvel movies, this wouldn't be one I'd probably put back in and revisit. It has some good moments in there, some good visuals, and I feel like I wanted a bit more from some of the villainous characters in here too. The climax was good, and I wanted a bit more from that though. Even though it was good, I feel like it could have been even better than it was. But yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity here. Let me know who your favorite character in the Thor universe is. Let me know who your favorite Marvel comic book character is. Let me know who your favorite comic book character of any company is. DC, Image, Valiant. I'd like to see more Valiant movies. Bloodshot was part of that, and that unfortunately wasn't received well with Vin Diesel. But I love that comic book growing up, and Valiant in general. I love the crossover between Valiant and Image. But yeah, let me know what your favorite comic book movie is of all time, and your favorite Marvel comic book movie. I really love Blade. I feel like that kind of, there's other comic book movies before that really kind of pushed for the Marvel universe and showed comic book movies can do well. I feel like it's kind of doesn't get enough love and appreciation that it should. I even love Trinity, but the whole franchise for me, but the first Blade movie by far. And then Into the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite. Thor Ragnarok is up there too for me. Next up is Breach. This was interesting to me. Good performances, but the ego is the biggest thing. It's almost kind of like, it happens, I guess, especially if you're in a position of power. It's basically about this young upcoming FBI agent, and he's working with this one guy who's so well known, and they're basically saying, watch him because they think that he's selling secrets to Russia and stuff like that. And it's based on an incredible true story of the greatest security breach in U.S. intelligence history. it's really just about this guy's ego, Chris Cooper's ego, who's such a tremendous actor. I feel like a lot of people know him from American Beauty, but he's been around for so long. And just a really good supporting cast here too. Dennis Haysbert, Laura Linney. But yeah, really enjoy the performances here. But the storyline, I just feel like it's almost kind of laughable at how bad his ego is and how it just lets him get caught, lets him set up these traps for him. But so it's a double agent out of cover, and they're trying to draw him out, and it's spy versus spy. It's really about the performances here, and this is directed by Billy Ray, who did the remake for The Secret in Their Eyes, which wasn't a bad movie. It just isn't as good as the original. I feel like there's a lot of movies like Let Me In. It was a good movie. It was just unnecessary. Let the Right One In is an all-time transcendent horror movie classic. But yeah, so he's done some really good writing as well. He worked on the screenplay for Captain Phillips, Hunger Games, a bunch of other films. So he's a really talented writer for the screenplay. Overlord too. He worked on the Overlord screenplay, which I love the heck out of that film. But again, I think it's really good performances, but the storyline, it's crazy. How, I guess, if you're in the position of power, but your ego just gets that out of control, it's kind of wild. But I just, as much as I enjoyed it, I just don't think I would revisit that one. This one to me was actually a really hard one to kind of purge. The next two, I feel like, this is directed by John Herzfeld. 15 minutes, Robert De Niro, Edward Burns. I really love the aspect of being, just the reality television and being consumed by that fame. And there's some really good supporting cast in here too. Kelsey Grammer was so good. He plays the jerk character just so friggin' well in here. But some really good moments in here. I'll be honest, I like Edward Burns, but I didn't like him in this role. He kind of stood out for me as I don't know. The performance for him here just was my least enjoyable for the cast. And you've got two Eastern European criminals that come there, and they decide to film some of their crimes, and it gets kind of like leaked, and they have a whole like frenzy of people that are watching, and some people are you got the tabloid TV, and they're getting so popular and famous off of it, and especially the one of them is like really just consumed by that fame. And the climax here was awesome. I love just seeing certain characters get their comeuppings a bit, especially Kelsey Grammer's character right there. But yeah, it's just about those two criminals and them going on a kind of killing spree essentially, and it's grabbing all the headlines, and they're filming stuff, and just kind of showing reality TV, tabloid TV, and just how crazy and out of control it is, especially in this society. And I really like that aspect of it, and I love the performances from pretty much everybody except for Edward Burns. I don't know, it just didn't. I like him in other stuff, but this one just didn't work for me here. But I loved so much of this film, but I just feel like certain aspects didn't work, especially Edward Burns for me. So this one's got to go. Next up is Resurrecting the Champ, and this is another one that I thought was really interesting. This was a MVD visual release. Samuel L. Jackson, Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett is a sports writer, and he finds Samuel L. Jackson on the streets, homeless. He used to be an ex-boxer. However, things may not be as they seem, and so he's creating this great story that everybody gets involved in, and is really rooting for Samuel L. Jackson's character. He used to be, supposedly a former boxing champion, and he's living on the streets. He's trying to help him, and more of the story gets revealed. Good supporting cast here too: Alan Alda, Rachel Nichols, a few other recognizable people, but really good performances here as well. And I love how this one unravels, and again, how you can get kind of consumed and trying to get your glory essentially, but you're missing certain things that are kind of red flags there. But yeah, really good performances here from the leads, Samuel L. Jackson and Josh Hartnett. Let me know what your favorite Samuel L. Jackson movie is. Let me know what your favorite Josh Hartnett movie is. I feel like I don't know if he was blacklisted or what happened, but he wasn't in a lot of stuff for like a long time, movies and TV. Then all of a sudden he kind of came back. Penny Dreadful was really big, but he's been around for a long time. But 30 Days of Night is one of my all-time favorite movies, and he was excellent in there. Really good vampire movie with a snowy setting, Barrow, Alaska. I say it all the time, but I love that movie so freaking much. Highly recommend it if you're into vampire movies. The look of them, their dialect, Ben Foster in there as a stranger character. The blood pops on the white snow, just the tension throughout, just the vampires themselves are just so creepy and menacing and just darker. And I love the ending too. They didn't cop out for it, and really enjoyed the heck out of that one. But again, great performances from Samuel L. Jackson and Josh Hartnett in this one. But again, I just don't know if I'm going to revisit that one. So there you go. Those didn't make the shelf right there. We got 7 films that didn't make the shelf. Let me know if you're going through stuff as well, what didn't make your shelf recently. And definitely check out Joe and Marie on Martinez Joe 74. Their video series of this inspired me to do this as well. And I enjoy hearing their feedback on it too, on all the different ones that didn't make their shelves. I think that's interesting. You know, it's obviously subjective, and you know, certain movies that I see them getting rid of, maybe I enjoy, or certainly the same thing here. Maybe some of these ones, like I know Reflecting Skin gets a lot of love, and I'm sure people that love that one might like this one. So you know, it's interesting to hear differing opinions. But yeah, so again, The Hobbit I enjoy. I have different editions of it now, and it's time to get rid of some of the multiples for that. There's certain films that I have multiple editions of. And I'm actually looking forward to Joe's video on that. He's going to do a video where he has, you know, showing all of his duplicates. He's got a ton. When I saw the picture on Instagram, I was like, holy moly, I thought I had a bunch, but you have a bunch too. But yeah, so thank you for the inspiration for this video, Joe and Marie, and let me know if you've seen any of these movies and what you think of them. Leave me those comments down below. Again, even if it's differing opinions, if you liked them or not, I still like to hear that. But I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.